All right, folks, welcome back. So I hope you were able to at least save something to a database. If not, no problem, no judgments here. Let's go ahead and do that. Save at least one item. Well, first of all, we need to go obviously back to our main activity because that's where everything happens. And we need to come here and say private, I'm going to say database handler. Just create our database handler there. And in our main here, I'm going to say database handler is equal to new database handler. Of course, we have to pass this context as such, just like that. Okay, so we have instantiated it. But notice that our save item, let's go to our save item here. This is where we're going to be saving an item. Now, because I need to grab the view where the saved item is being shown, I'm going to pass a view object here. You will see later why I'm doing this. So I'm going to just say view. Okay, very good. So let's go ahead and invoke the save here. How do we do this? Well, first of all, in order for us to save an item, we need to get the information from our pop-up here, right? In fact, I'm starting to have an issue here because I need to pass a v. There we go. All right, so how do we do that? Well, first of all, we know that we have all of the edit text that we have at the top there, so everything is good. So we're going to do a few things. First, I'm going to say item, create the object item. It's equal to new item. Very good. We have our object there. And then I'm going to go ahead and get all of the information from our views, meaning all of these item, quantity, color, and size. So I'm going to put things inside of a string here. I'm going to say new item is equal to item. So in this case, it's going to be baby item. We called it dot get text to string, and I'm going to call the trim. So to get rid of all the excess, I'm going to do the same thing. String new color item color, there we go, dot get text, like that. Very good. And I'm going to continue here. Int quantity, item quantity, get text dot to string dot trim. Now I'm going to have problem here because that is an integer. So let's say parse it all to make it an integer. So I'm going to parse this string here, make it an actual integer, which is exactly what we want. And then int size. I'm going to do the same thing because I know I'm going to have to do that. I'm going to pass item size get text to string dot trim. All right, so there we go. Now, the reason why we don't need to add date here, because remember, the date is actually being added at the database handler level, right? Because that's automatic, that users don't have to even do anything. So the moment they save, then the date is going to be added automatically. So there we go. So we have these 4 items that we're going to be saving into our database. Okay, but before we do that, obviously, we have to add inside of our item object. So item.set name, I'm going to pass in the new item like that. Then item.set color, new color, item.set quantity, pass an integer, pass the quantity. Then item.set size, it's going to be also size there. Very good. So we have created our object, and now it's time for us to save to our database. So I'm going to say db. So in this case, I'm going to say database handler dot. I'm going to invoke the add item, and I'm going to pass our item. Okay. There we go. At this point here, what I want to do actually, I'm going to use a snack bar, right? Snack bar, remember, just like a toast message here, but it's a bit more advanced, as you saw previously. I'm going to have to pass a view. In this case, I'm going to pass the view that I'm in. In this case, is this view here that I'm passing. Okay. And then I'm going to have to pass the message. What is the message? I'm going to say item saved, and then snack bar dot length short show it. There we go. So now, where are we calling this save here, which is when we click save button, we want to do a few things, but before we go forward here, remember this V that I said about? Well, we have to pass this view because snack bar needs to be attached to a view. That's the reason why we're passing a view, and it's very convenient for us because onClick also passes in a view that we can actually pass inside of a save item, which in return we use that view to create our snack bar here. Okay, that's the reason we're using snack bar. Now, before we call that, like I said, we need to put inside of the if statements here. I'm going to say if baby.get text to string is empty, okay, or is not empty. I'm going to say and not empty will be, in this case, color dot get text dot to string that is empty. I'm going to continue here, and not quantity dot get text dot to string that is empty, and not item size dot get text dot to string that is empty. Okay, just like that. If that is true, meaning none of those are empty, only then are we going to go ahead and call this save. So this is just a little precaution here. In fact, I can say else if something like that is not true, meaning something is empty. I can call the snack bar again, pass in the make, the view that we have inside there, and say empty fields not allowed. Okay, snack bar dot short, and we're going to show it. There we go. Very good. All right, let's go ahead and give it a run real quick here to see if this is actually going to work. That's very important, otherwise we're going to be in trouble. Let's check it out. Whoops, now we have a problem. What might be the problem? Let's go to run here. All right, so this button here, I think we didn't set it up. Okay, save button. We have save button, set and click listener. Right, here's the problem. This save button here is not related to our activity. Because remember, this save button actually, it's outside of our activity, meaning that's what we created from our resources here. Layout, this pop up. So we are referring to this save button at the bottom here, this one here, which is that. So that is the button we're talking about. So in main here, we cannot do this outside or inside of our own create, because at this point here, it doesn't even know what this is. So simply, we're just going to go ahead and copy all of this, actually cut all of this, and I'm going to put inside of where we're creating our view. In fact, it's going to be here. I'm going to save button like that, and there we go. Now you notice we may have a little problem here because the save button, again, we need to get it from where? From view.find like this. Because we're saying we're getting the save button from the view, which is what? Which is what we got from our pop-up layout. Oh, very good lesson. Very good lesson indeed. So at this point here, we should be good. Hopefully, let's run this once again. And voila, it's working. So I'm going to say add. I'm going to add an item. Let's say baby wipes. Quantity, I want probably 1,000 at this point. Color, I'm going to say red. Size is going to be 3 months, something like that. Let's go ahead. Click save. Item saved. Very good. So the next thing here should be to actually get out of our alert dialog here once we save. We can get out of it if we just click somewhere else, but it would be nice to have that working, right? So at this point here, we can check to see if things have been saved. How do we do that? Well, let's go to perhaps inside of about here. We can go ahead and say check if item was saved. Okay, so I'm going to say list. I want a list of what? Items. Items is equal to, I'm going to say database handler dot get all items like that. Okay, And I know this database handler here is going to return, let me click there. Notice it's going to return a list of items. So I can go ahead and do a quick for here. I'm going to say item in items, right? And I say log d, say item dot get item name. Of course, this I'm going to say main, like that. Let's run this real quick and see if we're going to get something inside of our logcat. A lot of processes happening here. We want debug, and we want main, and voila, baby wipes. Great. In fact, I can go ahead and say I want to get date. This would be fun. Or get time added. Let's run again. And voila, it says March 20th, 2019. How beautiful is that? So we know now that our application is indeed saving the data that we wanted. In this case, the items that we want to save for our baby list. So this is a very good news. Congratulations. And in the next video, we are going to keep working on our application here. Mainly, we want to make sure that when we add something, in fact, if I try to save something here, it says empty fields not allowed. Very good, you see? So in this case here is now validating everything. In any case, once we save something, we want to be able to get out of here, and also want to be able to, then we are able to populate this view here so it shows the actual item that was added. This means we have to create a recycle view, and we have to do a few other things there so that we are able to achieve what we're trying to achieve here. Okay, so if you have a way to get ahead of what we're trying to do here, go ahead and do it. That's the way we learn, as you know by now. In any case, I'm going to see you in the next video. We're going to be tackling other items to be added into this app. See you next.